Welcome to the questions and responses for feeling hopeless. And let me tell you, your bodies are brilliant and adapting correctly. Let's change that. We're going to give not just hope back, but this is going to be guaranteed. So, question 1 from Rebecca8543. I feel hopeless about. Please give me some advice. My husband, 62, has sarcopenia. He started training specific exercise to train his glutes, and his muscle mass has decreased even further. He sleeps very badly and therefore is muscle breakdown, but no muscle building. Men at that age also suffer from prostate enlargement. For example, he would like to take creatine, but it's bad. But is this bad for his prostate? Would you like to make a video about this? Because it's related to what older men have in common, just like sleep problems. For example, the prostate is part glandular tissue, part muscle tissue. Namely, can you explain this? Yeah, Rebecca, let's get your hubby healthy. Now, I'm 64 right now. and I got to tell you, it is common in our age category. But when you're looking at sarcopenia, that's muscle wasting. It means that his body isn't absorbing the nutrients. So creatine is okay supplement, but know that we've got this automatic nervous system. One part keeps you alive under stress. The other part regenerates tissue. Sympathetic keeps you alive under stress, and the parasympathetic, resting, digesting, and repairing, are the key. Now, so we have to, because your hubby is in a chronic state of stress. Plus, his pelvis is going to be unstable. Now, he's exposed, just like all males in 2024, to a huge amount of things that are like hormones, but not hormones. They're called endocrine disruptors. That's why you can't be drinking water out of plastic cans. You got to make sure that there's no aluminum containers as well, because that's extremely toxic. And watch any medical interventions that can toxify the system that we can't talk about here. But his pelvis is going to be unstable because that houses half of the rest, digester, repair. So 3 things we got to fix on him: physical, chemical, and emotional stress. And poor sleep patterns is a major chemical stressor. Now, the prostate is in the pelvic floor. Now, the way you're designed, you've got the poop chute, okay? The rectum goes right behind the prostate. So we can start healing the prostate by getting him to do a prostate massage. And you can do that by increasing your fiber. So have him take just a scoop of fiber. If his intestinal tract is strained, or if he has a leaky gut, okay, you might want to do non-psyllium husk fiber. If not, if he has a reasonably healthy digestive tract, psyllium husk fiber is fantastic. But that fiber will increase that solidity of the stool, and every time that stool passes by is going to give a prostate massage. Plus moist heat on the prostate, and then do a manual, either external or internal prostate massage. External is fine, whereas you're drawing from the rectum towards the testicles. And then we have to stabilize his pelvis. He's going to have completely an unstable pelvis. He's going to have altered foot function. You're going to see he doesn't have any dorsiflexion. His gait is going to be off. So a trochanter support would be ideal. But I'd love to get a set of x-rays on his neck, his thoracic area, and his pelvis area. Ideally, we're getting stress x-rays of the low back to identify. Now, the spinal cord stops at the junction of the rib cage and low back. So past traumas are going to negatively affect this. So look at our lumbar health videos. Look at our knee and foot health videos. This is all stuff you can start doing right now. The supplements that he's going to be taking, he can't really absorb. So look at pre-digesting it. This is going to be fermented foods. It's also going to be bone broth, or where you can get that collagen. Collagen supplements are going to be fantastic. And if he is taking medications, you've got to look, because all medications have a series of effects that are non-specific. So identify his medication use. Once you get the x-rays, you're going to be able to identify the physical stressors. He more likely is going to have a loss of curve or forward head carriage, and all those structural things. You can start doing exercises that will help those areas right now. But knowing at that lumbar thoracic junction, right at the top of the lumbar base of the thoracic, the spinal cord stops there. So when we talk about turning sitting into therapy, fantastic, you need that. But we've got to stretch his calves. make sure his knees are working and hips are working correctly in order to make sure that pelvis is stabilized, because he cannot rest, digest, or repair. That means he has a problem with the pelvis and the cervical spine, possibly a leaky gut. So addressing each one of these is going to give him the raw materials to regenerate. Then completely eliminate any commercially produced dairy that is loaded with hormones, no processed or packaged foods. His diet's going to be just exactly the same as his great-grandparents, because you know what they were eating: organic, seasonal, healthy, varied, and just a good varied diet. Look at bone marrow. That would also be good, but out of healthy animals, not the hormone-laden animal products that are usually available in the supermarkets. You got to go organic. But by addressing that, then look at our sleep restriction videos to reset his circadian rhythm, because it's not just the swollen prostate that is causing him to get up at night and have his sleep patterns interrupted. It has to do with, during the sleep process, you go through these 90-minute cycles called rapid eye movement. When you complete them, bam, your eyes open, then they close. And if there's enough light to see your hand in front of your face, that triggers the fight or flight system, then he's got to get up to pee. So we've got to make it so dark you can't see your hand in front of your face, or he's got to wear eye coverings, nightshades. And look at our sleep restriction, because there's a couple of things that he's going to need to do to achieve the deep sleep patterns, such as journaling and reading. And we detail it all in those videos. But Rebecca, God bless you for taking care of him. And he will get better. We've just got to look at the physical stress. That's going to be identified in the x-rays. The chemical stress is poor sleep and diet, possibly a leaky gut. And emotional stress. Look at our neurolinguistic programming. You get all of those working along with moist heat and prostate massage, and you will see him recover. Question 2 from Eric S9461. Hello, Dr. Bergman, lifelong patient of yours. God bless you, brother. My wife is dealing with a large fibroid in her uterus. Is there a natural way to get rid of it or shrink it? Doctors recommend birth control pills. I know. Or surgery, but we want to use the body's natural way of healing instead. Okay, number 1, make sure she doesn't eat any processed or packaged foods. The toxic seed oils like canola oil and the most of the seed oils are dangerous and toxic, but the processed foods are what cause the body to form these tumors and cysts. And I can't tell you how many people with polycystic ovary syndrome, uterine fibroids, they change the diet and they start to shrink. So once you get the diet changed, then look at the pelvic stability. Okay, if then we gave your wife, I'm sure, a trochanter support to stabilize the pelvis. Make sure she's doing the lumbar health videos. Like we always give a white foam piece to turn sitting into therapy. So getting the healthy nerve supply and watch her sleep patterns, that's going to be ideal. So she's sleeping through the night. She's got a good, healthy diet, no toxic hormones, no processed foods. Then we got to change the sleep patterns. And we teach every patient the sleep restriction therapy. Fantastic. And then we talk about changing the emotional health through neurolinguistic programming. Now let's look at the uterus. Start putting moist heat right above you'll feel a bone right in the middle there. The uterus is right above that bone. So putting moist heat on there for at least 5 to 10 minutes, a couple of times a day, that's going to trigger macrophage activity. And that literally these cells, macro means big, phage means eater. So they're big cells that chew up abnormally placed proteins. And since the body forms fibroids, the body forms tumors and cysts, as long as you eliminate the toxic environmental exposure, then the body is going to want to break those down, because the body forms those fibroids in order to wall off toxins to protect the body. Also, look at anything she puts on her skin. If you put skin creams, makeups, all of these different chemicals on the skin, if you can't eat it, don't put it on the skin. Skin is fantastically absorbing, and there's a ton of hormones in makeup and skin creams and things that we don't even think about. But as long as she changes her diet, changes her sleep patterns, stabilizes the pelvis, utilizes the trochanter support, and doing the moist heat, like a hot water bottle wrapped in a wet towel, is fantastic. And this will actually make her feel better. And then also, next time you're back at the office, let's do a live blood cell analysis. Let's check the status of her blood. But, and she will heal. God bless you, brother. Question 3 from Yvonne Thomas, 1537. My daughter for the past 4 years has been to every doctor for pain in her lower back. She's now getting sharp pain in her upper back. She's gotten every test done. They tell her she is fine. Oh my gosh, I know. She is 47, eats very healthy, exercises every day, drinks water all the time, is very, very health conscious, and she gets these pains here and there as well as headaches. I am extremely concerned. Can you help? Yeah, for sure. She has a very high stress job. She's in front of a computer 10 to 12 hours a day. She does take breaks and she'll walk for an hour every day. Like I said, she's very health conscious, but something is going on. I don't know what it is. Thank you. Okay, let's get her healthy. Number 1, sitting down, 8 to 10 hours a day, even if you're super healthy, it's more than likely going to start to destabilize the pelvis. Just like if you were golfing, under the golf swing, the pressure on the L5-S1 disc, and this is the disc way at the base of the spine, is under 8 times normal pressure. Sitting increases at 5 times normal. So she's more likely going to have an unstable pelvis. Headaches, you got a 97% chance that they're coming from the neck. So we need to get structural x-rays of her. That means static and stress x-rays. And we detail it out on our sites at the x-rays I'd recommend for virtually everybody in her condition. We want to get standing, weight-bearing, bending films of the low back. If you look at her foot, her big toe more than likely is going to be leaning towards the other toes. That's a good indicator that the pelvis is unstable and those nerves are compromised. Her sleep patterns, the diet sounds good. She's exercising, fantastic. But if her pelvis is unstable, she's having trouble resting, digesting, and repairing. And knowing that she has headaches, the parasympathetic nervous system, that's the rest, digest, and repair, is located in the neck and the pelvis. Medical doctors are not trained to look for structural deviations, putting the body in a fight or flight state. So they're looking in the wrong place. But get to a corrective or good chiropractor, use our 7 questions, and the basic ones. I'm talking basic. Do you take an x-ray? Beautiful. If you do, fantastic. You know what you're working on. Do you take a second x-ray to document that you're fixing the changes? That is a whole different world. Okay, that's a level of skill that somebody is going to identify a problem, then show that they've corrected it. Hugely important. And pain is an indicator of something going on. Pain is not the problem. Pain is an alarm telling you that there's something going on. And in our society, typically they're going to be taking non-steroidal anti-inflammatories, Advil, Motrin, Aleve, or worse yet is Tylenol, acetaminophen, because that's going to decrease the building blocks of cartilage or the proteoglycan production. It also can damage the kidneys, and it's just a toxic substance. So look at the pain as an alarm telling you that there's a problem. Now, notice in the mid-back, if the head's forward, all those muscles that support that head stop in there. So that typically means she's going to have a loss of curve of the neck, forward head carriage, or some type of thoracic deviations. Once you identify that, then change her sleep pattern, stabilize the pelvis, heal her gut, because even though she has a really good diet, she may have a leaky gut, and that'll be identified on the x-rays, and she will get better. But you cannot go to a doctor with symptom, hurt here, and have them say, oh yeah, it's a structural problem. We've identified it on an x-ray. No, when they take an x-ray, they're looking for tumors, fractures, or some other pathology. They're not looking for structural deviations that are contributing factors. So you got to get her to the right doctor, and then she will get better. Question 4 from Lisa Sandoval, 819. My blood pressure has been pretty elevated lately, readings as high as 172 over 104, palpitations, elevated heart rate as high as 120 at rest. I've been able to reduce the blood pressure to 130 over 90 range with relaxation measures, dropping coffee down from 26 ounce to 12 ounce a day. I'm a nurse and I have a high stress life. I have a history of mitral valve prolapse. That's a big clue there. I'm working on diet and exercise, working on stress management. What are your thoughts on the use of black seed oil while I work on the other factors? Help. I refuse to medicate with pharmaceuticals. I got to tell you, this is so common. Nurses, I've got a couple of dozen doctors. I have hundreds of nurses as patients. They see the damage, and I mean the effects of treating symptoms with pharmaceutical products. Now, when you look at mitral valve prolapse, the blood flows up and the valve opens up like this. And there's tendons, chordae tendineae, that hold that valve to the heart muscle wall. Now, nutrient deficiencies, such as scurvy, significant vitamin C deficiencies, cause those ligaments. So instead of the valve slamming together, the valve goes tung, 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 and then tung, tung, tung. That's about what a valve prolapse sounds like on the stethoscope. So look at nutrient deficiencies or nutrient absorption problems. Black seed oil is amazing. It's fantastic. But let's look at three different things. One, your reading of 172/104 means the blood's not efficient. Now, there's certain medical procedures that were forced on people that are causing the blood to not be efficient. That means, because what I see is that red blood cells should have an electronegative charge. If you're in a chronic state of stress, the cells start to overlap. If you're really in a chronic state of stress, they start to stack. And that means that the pulse pressure, the difference between systolic and diastolic, is going to be huge. It should be 40 to 60 in the ballpark. You're looking at 72, so it means the blood might not be that efficient at doing its job. So I recommend a live blood cell analysis. Also, when you're taking your blood pressure, make sure you nasal diaphragmatic breathe for 10 minutes before you check it, and look at the data on respirate. I don't recommend you buy that machine, but I recommend you do the deep breathing at least 10 to 15 minutes max before you check your blood pressure. And blood pressure is a really poor indicator. When you look at blood pressure, it's going to be a tons of factors: full bladder, cold room, talking. Okay, it's going to change it. But look at a live blood cell analysis, and that'll show you the efficiency of the blood. Now, the heart rate, you've got sensors in your neck. Okay, that carotid comes up, it splits. You've got a chemo and a baroreceptor. So one senses the pressure, one senses the carbon dioxide levels. So as the carbon dioxide levels go up, then the heart rate increases. As carbon dioxide levels go down, the heart rate decreases. And it uses that carbon dioxide to regulate and balance the pH. It's fantastic. So knowing that the heart rate is high, it means the blood's not efficient or you're not getting the good oxygen transfer. So look at deep breathing before you check it, but look at the health of the blood. Then look at the physical, because if you have a problem with that structure and you are in that sympathetic dominant state, then that means the resting, digesting, and repairing are not good. So look at a structural issue in the neck and in the pelvis. And you can tell if you're looking at your foot and your big toes leaning towards the other ones, there could be a pelvis issue too, because let's go back to that autonomic nervous system. Resting, digesting, and repairing, you might not be good at. So once you look at the structural, if there's a problem with the cervical spine, thoracic spine, lumbar spine, unstable pelvis, change the sleep patterns and increase your vitamin C. And that can help with not just the mitral valve prolapse, but also with the gut function. We got to get you sleeping good and getting up to 2 to 3 bowel movements a day. And let me know how you're doing, my dear. And you will get better. Oh, and organic coffee is a vitamin to the thyroid. So scaling back coffee, I wouldn't really do if you're enjoying it, but it's got to be organic. Oh, look at Ray Pete's work on that. They're just brilliant. Okay, if your question wasn't answered here, go to the Dr. B VIP and I can speak a lot more freely. But God bless you all. Thank you so much for your questions and share these videos. God bless you all. You're made in the image and likeness of God, and you will get better.